Hello, hello. Welcome. Another episode of our Footy Fantasy podcast. The third person is late. I'm just gonna call him out. I'm just gonna get me he's late, and he's gonna get fined. Yeah, me. They're gonna get fined. Just show by the time you get on this. Before I do anything else, let's plug the thing. Footy Fantasy YouTube, FWTIE, Twitter, road to 1.5k. You know, Footy 80 Fantasy, Instagram Fantasy Footy for real short stories. Like yesterday, we had a watch party. So yes, do what you do, plug it, like, share, subscribe. Uh the guest I have that's early, Benny, Chelsea fan, Pep hater to be correct. Pep hater to the core, still
with
hating.
my full chest.
Even though the man has two trebles, let's just dive in. Let's not waste any time. Today will be a short one, by the way, guys. Probably we've done like 45 minutes, I assume, on this pod. End of season. Watch out next week for our team season reviews. I think we'll probably will start with either Arsenal or Chelsea's one next week. We'll start doing season reviews for each team week on week out till we begin the season. But let's UCL Final, Benny. Tell me why your opinion has changed now. Pep is the greatest manager of all time. And
I don't know why you're trying to put words in my mouth. I still maintain my position. Look, before the game started, I knew City were clear favorites. I think everybody and their mom just knew that, but that didn't stop me from rooting for Inter. And to be fair, it was a much closer game than I expected.
yes,
But now my opinion on Pep has not changed. I don't think it'll change until he proves himself somewhere. There's no like plethora of talent or money just waiting for him. Um, I I'm not going to get into why I don't like Pep, but it just feels like I haven't seen him be an underdog in any situation. It's always been, he has the best team, he assembled the best team, he has a great philosophy. That much nobody can deny that. His philosophy of playing the game, and he's a great tactician and all that. Yes, but I'd like to see him do a lot with little, like more with little, if that makes sense. I mean, to be fair, he's won the Champions League right now, but how long did it take him building this team with all that money, all the resources? So that's my that's my gripe against Pep, and then some other issues that I'm not going to bring up here. But um, my opinion about him hasn't changed yet. I mean, it's about time is what I'm going to say. My Skip Bailey's persona here. It's about damn time. He should have won this a few years ago. I mean, I guess better late than never. But it was a great game. I I was pleasantly surprised by Inter's gameplay, and shout out to Onana. That boy was immense in goal in terms of uh, dealing with the city press. City press is something that's like crazy, but having a ball playing goalie makes a lot of difference. That
absolutely.
extra person that can hold the ball, and contain that press, because City will always press you if they feel like, oh wow, your goalie is shaky. I'm not going to uh, shade anybody here, but if that were the hair in that post, it would be
Ah,
a whole different
shade, shade,
issue.
shade. Go ahead.
Fantastic shot stopper, but
Hmm,
not very
I
good
don't
with
know
his
about
feet.
that. I don't know about the shot stopping. That's a
Eh,
long time ago.
Well, okay, maybe back then it was like any other goalie that's not good on his feet. Courtois would have struggled. That Inter would have struggled Courtois in that game.
Yeah.
Not because Courtois is a bad goalkeeper. He's probably one of the best in the world, but you needed a player goalie essentially, kind of like Edison. So like have watching two Edisons play the game. That's why it felt so even to me, in my opinion. But it was a fantastic game. Unfortunately, Inter couldn't make me happy, but I enjoyed the game nonetheless. Yes.
Okay. Uh, I'll add more color to it. I was not too surprised about how Inter approached the game. They were very aggressive. We expected a physical
Right.
aggression. But what surprised me, I guess, is how they put it together, their game plan, the execution, like
Hmm.
the execution of playing out of the back. And I think Pep put it very, very well when he said there's no point pressing Inter because Onana is extremely good on the ball.
Extremely
And
good.
Inter are also very good with long balls. So they had to worry about the long balls. The two strikers behind, they push their wing backs really, really high to press City from playing out of the back. So
Right.
that's what surprised me. I think the second thing that surprised me was the fact that City were nervous in the game.
They were very nervous.
They
So much
were-
nerves
they were-
everywhere. People tripping, tripping on the ball, missing
yeah,
passes, and it had the aura of a final, the atmosphere of the final, because everyone knew, wow, one goal can just end our dream. One goal could end this whole journey and everything. This or any other game, the semi-final or a quarterfinal, first leg of something. Nah, I expect City to be up like 3-4, whatever.
that's
But
true.
final brought an extra atmosphere of like, okay, there's so much to lose. As much as there is a lot to win, there's so much to lose by making any errors. And unfortunately, Inter couldn't punish some of those errors there, which, um, I
Good
mean,
segue. That's a good segue to the next major talking point.
right.
Lukaku. Man, Lukaku has been on such a journey.
Mhm.
So I'm one of those people I usually feel for players a lot. I do. He has been on such a journey. Like he's one of the major reasons Belgium did not make it out.
Oh, at the
Chances.
World Cup, man. Oh man.
And then again, yesterday, everything just not go right. The header, direction of the header, the
Hmm.
one at the shooting that just went wide.
Hmm.
It's always one of those things where in my head, could they have been better starting Lukaku and
And
bring
coming up with Dzeko,
Dzeko instead towards the end?
I was talking to someone else about that. Yeah, like that Lukaku run them ragged. I don't know if there's something in his contract that precludes him from starting games. I think he started a few games, but they keep him on the bench until like the 60th minute normally, which I don't know if it's something in the contract. But um, Dzeko is a lot more clinical, maybe not as physical or not as fast as Lukaku, but those headers, the header he missed, that Lukaku header,
Mm-hmm.
you can take it to the bank like any day of the week and twice on a Sunday that Dzeko is making that header.
He
Like
does.
he's at least going one angle or something. He's very good in the air, good with both feet actually. But I mean, he didn't really see as much of the ball in the first half or when like the entire time he played.
Yeah.
Now, maybe a function of his mobility or lack thereof, or the fact that the defenders were tired, more tired close to the end of the game, or they had more energy in the beginning of the game and stopped him from getting that many chances or whatever. But Lukaku was there, had like his time to shine was right there, placed for him, and he just couldn't take it. Just a tale of a guy that's not been known to be clutch, really, or to rise to the occasion when it mattered, or when it matters. Yeah, just shades of the World Cup, man. When he had that stinker of a game against I forget who it was, the game that got them out eventually. But he blocked so many chances. Not only wasn't he creating chances, he was blocking his teammates. Now, granted, the one he blocked from I forget the left back's name,
DeMarco, right? DeMarco.
DeMarco, he couldn't do anything about it. He didn't see the ball. I mean,
Yeah,
I can't really blame him for that.
yeah.
But it's just reminiscent of like, I'm like, man, this Lukaku spirit is there. Like, man went from like being like envied for pulling Megan to Otaro's wedding to like this thinker. Man, ups and downs. The ups are high, but the downs are really low.
Is it fair to say that's probably the difference between a top striker and a good striker?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Like if at the moment, like because there's a pressure on you to
Yeah,
perform on the big stage. If you cower or cave during those times, your names won't be out there up there. Like you just become like this. Think of it's like the clutch gene they talk about in basketball, right?
yeah,
If you're so good in the first three quarters, like you're just this scorer of everything, somehow your legacy can be defined or your impact can be defined in the last couple of minutes,
yeah,
really. Like
yeah.
how big did you come up in the last couple of minutes when it really mattered? Which doesn't really make sense because the entire game matters. The 2 points you
Exactly.
scored the first quarter is still the same as 2 points in the last quarter. But for some reason, context, the timing of everything is crucial in determining who is good, who is great, and who is like an absolute star or who is a dud, really. So yeah, he's just come short, fall short every time it mattered, or it
Yeah,
seemed like it mattered, I should say.
I agree. For me, the last talking point has to be the goal. I'm one of those people. I don't want to call myself a nerd, but maybe I am when it comes to like tactics or whatever.
No,
So
you are. You definitely are. Don't even try to. You definitely are a nerd. Yeah,
maybe I am. I don't know. I sometimes I
absolutely.
think in and out of it. But the goal is a typical like Pep goal, Man City goal, right? Under Pep, the cutback. That's all they thrive on. So I think Akanji brought the ball out of the back to break the lines. Bernardo Silva makes that run, cut back. It gets deflected. And
Deflected. Okay, I was about to say yeah.
yeah, it gets deflected and Roger apply. And why I want to talk about this goal is I read this interview from Pep's former assistant. And since then, the way I look at Pep team and Arsenal has changed. Wamalilo. He said something that is very important. And I started watching like teams that do that. I was like, this guy is actually right. What he said. He said in football, like teams and defenses care so much about the spaces in the box a lot. But
Right.
what people don't understand that the most dangerous person is the last person to arrive into the box.
Yeah.
And I started when he said I saw that interview maybe December, January, something like that. I started paying attention to Man City goals and Arsenal goals a lot. And I was like, this makes a lot of sense because they were scoring a lot of goals where they would trick you like they want to make those runs in. Everybody packs the box, then they cut back. And the last person to arrive, that's how Odegaard, Partey, Riera. I think even Zinchenko scored a lot of goals that for Arsenal.
Yeah.
And City scored a lot of goals like that with Gundogan. I guess the last month play of Gundo, like they say.
For real, man.
He scored a lot of play of Gundo. That's why I call him. He scored a lot of goals that way. Rodri scored the winner like that way. Yesterday it's a very important thing in football, and I'm sure after a while, teams will adapt to that. Okay, this is the thing that people are doing, and maybe they will start, putting people around the
incorporating it,
using like basketball terms to like wait for goals like that. So I thought that was a very good finish, controlled finish.
Right. In a way,
the ball in that
it was carry the ball, but that placement was almost it started to become trademark Rodri now. Like his placement on. Like especially if I don't even remember the goal against Bayern. Now it's from a lot further distance away.
That's
but
true.
Weaker foot as well, placement and everything, like well controlled. And it kind of, and talking about the arriving at the box late. Lampard made a career out of that.
Absolutely,
that guy made his career. I'm a Chelsea fan and everything. I always wondered why this guy was always scoring.
Yeah.
He knows just the right time to enter the box. He's not always there with the striker. Like he just comes in later and somehow the ball finds him. So I'm sure they had some kind of there was a way the game plan kind of encouraged that. And I get what you're saying. And in a way, I don't know if you remember that the passage of play with an errant pass from I forget who it was. Bernardo Silva passed to Akanji, and Akanji just left it for Edison, thinking Edison would make it. And Lautaro gets there, and he's faced a tight angle, has Lukaku in the box there with two guys on him. But there was he looked at that guy, and I was of the opinion like, okay, that's not who you should be looking at. First of all, I don't think you should be going for a goal there. Second of all, I think Lukaku is taken by two people. There's someone else arriving. Somebody came like at the end who was free. I forget was it Barella? No, I don't think it was Barella. But there was someone that just arrived at the box free. If that were a City team, best believe that ball goes to that guy because he was free, empty nets. Like you already have Ederson committed to you, pass it back to that guy, just tap into the empty net. So again, just one of those things about tactics that Pep has drilled into his team. So yes, I'll give him credit for that. I'm still a hitter, but I'll give him credit for it.
That's fine. You hear me? A Pep lover, on the other hand, you're late. And
I am late. I'm so sorry for that.
We've decided
late in the box.
Find me as much as you want. It's my fault. Sorry, I'm all over the place.
The first donation to the podcast is going to come from you. $100 donation. You have been fine.
No problem, man. No problem. You know me, I support you anything. You got my support any day. If that's what it takes, I'm sorry guys for being late. It's been a very, very great day. Hey, my friend, how you doing?
Yes, guy, man. I met him for the first time yesterday, and my guy was tackling me in every different angle.
Solid
it was
guy.
fun.
We're just messing around. Solid guy.
It was fun. It was fun, man. It was a lot of fun.
Mr. Moderator, I'm at your service, sir.
What are your thoughts? UCL final review. What are your thoughts?
UCL final review. As per the match yesterday, right?
Visual talking points. What are your thoughts about it?
Man, my talking point was how good Inzaghi was tactically, and how Inzaghi not necessarily stopped, how Inzaghi prevented a whole lot of stuff that Man City could have done that was within their strength. I was talking to you yesterday. Remember I told you that City had the ball, but it wasn't in places where they could actually cause a lot of damage.
That's true.
Right.
City had a lot of the ball, but they weren't causing a lot of damage. I think it was the tactical approach.
Absolutely.
And listen, I'm going to say something that a lot of people did not see. Inter took a little bit from what Manchester United did at the FA Cup final. If you watch that game very well, City didn't really play that well. It wasn't because City were just terrible. Man U some sort of stopped them from playing the way they wanted to play, with the positions they took and how they pressed.
Yeah.
Now, this thing, we weren't as technical, or as we are not as technical that is we could have capitalized on the mistakes they made, but we frustrated their football.
Yeah, we did.
So we saw where Pep had to start switching things. I was talking to you yesterday. Remember, I told you that I didn't see that much of stones up front
Yep.
in the beginning of the game, and I understood why. Because this Inter was playing with a 2-point attack,
Yeah.
2-point attack system. He does not want to do the one-on-one tracking where like you're marking one-on-one, because those Inter guys, they are much more physical.
Right.
They're much more physical. They will, so you always need a spearman, and also this a channel to move the ball if you are trying to play out from the back.
Yeah.
No, but I saw that this Inter's press wasn't as aggressive, but they pressed in the midfield third, where like Barella and this and Shalanoglu, who really didn't have a great game, actually
didn't
had
have
a
a great
very
game.
sound. He had a sound game because
Defensive game.
tactically, defensively, he was all over Gundogan and Rodri.
Yeah.
Right.
He never allowed them. So did you notice most of the fouls was coming from him in the first half. His job was just to stop
To break up
Rodri
play, yeah.
and
Why don't freeze?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you're frozen. Frozen. We are increasing
Yep.
your fine by $50 now, man. I mean, you're frozen. You're frozen.
I didn't know what happened. Yeah, so
back.
that was that.
Change your Wi-Fi. Change your Wi-Fi. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's a hotspot. It's MTN.
Go and beg your neighbor to give you the password, Amy. Go ahead.
Can't even hear us. He can't hear us again. we can't even roast the guy in peace.
I was like, let me roast him. Let me see if I kick him out. Okay, yeah, me go jump out and jump back in. Are you back, Amy?
Yeah, I'm back. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Sorry for that.
Ask your neighbor to give you the Wi-Fi. Give Wi-Fi password.
Hope he's in MTN
Maybe
hotspot.
my neighbor is jumping on my Wi-Fi. You
It's
never
quite
know
fabulous.
nowadays.
Yeah.
But I need to give some guys some shout outs.
Yeah.
Bastoni for me in the first half. Bastoni, Brozovic. Onana was my man of the match. True.
Same here.
It was homeboy that me and him were talking. I was like, I'm in love with Onana pretty much. But Bastoni and Brozovic for me yesterday, man, they were immense. For the first half, Bastoni was the way that this Inter actually transitioned the ball going forward. Bastoni with those switches from the left that was going straight shot right, and Man City did not have anything. They couldn't stop it. So Bastoni, Anderson, Brozovic, man, in that midfield, that dude was a warrior. So those three were like my standout that guys that had a really massive game. So yeah, continue. That's all.
Okay. Just last thing I want to say, I'll be doing 5 things we learn about the final, where I'll go in depth into tactics, which I'll post the video tomorrow. So for anybody watching, I'll post that. I don't want to go too much in depth in tactical. What we saw. Let's jump to our next session. UCL Team of the Season. This one was hard to put by. I was talking to Benny earlier. A lot of football has happened this season, right? A lot of football. Because we have to remember that there was the first, because this is for the whole season. There was first group stages. Then there was World Cup. I have lost so much memory of the group stages that I had to look at some quick highlights, remember some things. Like, okay. So it was hard to put by, but we'll start with Benny. Benny, tell us your UCL team.
Are we starting by section, or do you just want to go full team?
Let's do full team. I think it's probably better that way.
All right, full team. I was torn between Courtois and Onana, really.
Yeah.
I think I'm actually going to lean more on Onana here because now we talked about the clutch part of things, and honestly, City dominates my team of the list. As much as it pains me to say it, as much as it hurts my soul to say it, City dominates my team of the list, my team of the season, because we were quite consistent overall.
Yeah.
Inter was actually quite good. Like they're good in this season, actually, really good. It struck me how they shut out AC like both times, even though they had considered so much against, not so much, like 3 goals against Benfica or whatever. I thought, it'd be an open game with AC Milan, but no, shut them out. Played a terrific game. So I'm gonna go with Onana here. So my back line, I'm gonna go with the back four. Well, back four, but not necessarily in position or whatever. I've just got 4 defenders there. So I'm gonna go Diaz, who's been a rock. Stones, who this season has entered one kind of different heights. Now, granted, he plays in the middle now because of that Pep's mid-season switch, which I thought was genius. In a way, it goes from has a 3-2-4-1. Like, what kind of madness is this? But it's worked so far. But I'm gonna put Stones there in centre back, and Acerbi from Inter. No, not Bastoni. It was between Acerbi and Bastoni for me, but I lean more with Acerbi just over the course of the season. Now the last one, I was between Camavinga and Ake. I know Kama is really a midfielder, but having him deployed in that left back role for Madrid has been crazy. Ake has also been solid this year. It makes me get mad at Chelsea even more that they sold him. But then again, that's the tale of Chelsea's transfer dealings: selling people that you shouldn't sell and buying people you shouldn't buy. Midfield, 2 midfielders, defensive mid. I'm gonna go with Rodri, and it was between Barella. I had 3 that I was considering. It was Barella, Kimmich, and I know it's still not hybrid. Barella, Kimmich, and what's this Madrid guy? And Modric for me. But I'm gonna go Barella again because he lasted longer, and I see the reason why he's so coveted right now in a lot of teams. Barella, and I always thought like the young talent of the Italian midfield, Barella and the AC guy. What's his name? The midfielder and AC.
Which one?
We talked about who?
Benassa?
No, not Menasa. There's a young Italian.
Tolani.
Is it Tolani? No, it's not Tolani.
Yes, Tolani.
It's not Tolani. I know
that's Tolani now. What you're talking about?
Tolani. It's not Tolani, Baba.
Tolani now. This guy.
Tolani said
Tolani.
It's not Tolani.
With long hair. Does he have long hair?
Yeah, it's long hair, but that's not his name.
You're talking about Tolani.
No, it's still not Tolani. What's that? That's not his name.
Tolani.
No, it's not Tolani.
It starts with
This guy says Tolani. Stop it, bro. What's Tolani?
Tolani.
It's not Tolani. It's I'll get it right now.
Don't worry. Keep going. I'll find it.
Okay, yeah. Tonali. It's not Tolani.
Tonali.
Andrew Tonali.
What are talking about?
Tolani is different from Tonali now.
I didn't say Tolani guy. You don't call
it was Tonali, yeah. Sandro Tonali.
Yeah, Tonali. Yeah.
Barella and Tonali, Italy has a good future right there in the middle. But I'm going to go Barella just because he showed a lot yesterday.
Yep.
The attacking 3. Let's start with striker. Haaland. No argument. Attacking 3 right there. Bernardo Silva for me, who I think to me is probably the most dangerous player in City, in my opinion. More than De Bruyne, more than Haaland, Bernardo Silva is crazy good. And I can't believe somebody on one chat that I was on was saying, "Oh, Chelsea does not need Bernardo Silva." I think when Bernardo was looking at leaving, Chelsea doesn't need him. We have Conor Gallagher. Somebody said that to my face, and I'll never let him forget it. Like that he made that statement.
Just like somebody in our United group, Yemi knows this. It's not
I don't know anything. Our
United group, my great friend, I'm part of the team. Bucci said Valverde is better than Bernardo Silva. I'll never forget that. It's like whoa.
The way that boy
you have to understand something though. When people talk like that, I've learned to realize that it depends on what lens that they are looking at.
Right.
Like how they see football. My guy, man, there are some people till tomorrow that still prefers. Somebody told me that Stevie Gerrard, you pick Stevie Gerrard over Zidane.
Okay. That's
so, and that's from his lens. But so don't debate. Yeah, my bad.
Anyway,
continue.
Let's not.
Let me take comments. For comments fly away. Okay, comments.
Yeah. So
the fire chief. Sorry, let me take comment. Look at the fire chief in your country and your house is burning. You have no hope. Chill now. Stones is now a hybrid 4 by Henry. Thanks.
True.
Conversion therapy Pep did on Stones needs to be commended. It does.
It's a conversion therapy.
Tonali.
It's not Tolani.
It's not Tolani. Yes. Yemi don't Pep is a fraud. I'm with Ola Lance.
Exactly. Thank you, Yoga Kwame. Yes.
I'm not
Yes.
salty, Namagi. Okay, so sorry.
Right. So let me finish. I'm down to 2, right? So I've got Bernardo Silva, and honestly, I would pay as much as he's so great right mid, like he destructive right mid. I'm gonna move him to the middle because I actually don't. I don't want to say I don't rate him, but this season I'm kicking De Bruyne off my list.
Oh wow.
Of my top 11 list. Instead, I'll have Vinicius, and this was tough to do. I kicked De Bruyne off just because I don't know why I kicked him off. Maybe it's just the hate or whatever. But Leao and Vinny for me from the wings with Haaland up front. And then the coach, I guess we need to pick a coach.
Yes.
Let's pick a coach. Simeone. Pep can enter bush. Let's go Simeone. Right? I said Simeone. Sorry, not Simeone. Inzaghi. Simeone Inzaghi. His first name, Simeone Inzaghi. But if I say Simeone, you think Diego. So I'm thinking Inzaghi.
Nobody think that. Yeah.
Nobody think that. You'd be surprised.
They were gone when they go out. They go out like group stages.
They were out a long time ago.
Nobody would think that. Okay. Yeah, man. Are you ready with your first?
Yeah, I am. There's a lot of special mentions on this list, but I'll go. Onana for me is number 1. I mean, my man crush on Onana is well noted. Right back, I'm confused. I want to go with Akanji because I saw this dude play. His ability.
This guy,
man.
1G Wi-Fi. Okay, let's take comments.
Talk about the blue balls of Wi-Fi.
Just to tell you that Pep is the greatest manager of all time. I don't need to tell you who this is. Pep's greatest fan. This is Dio. Dio Ade, we know that's you. Thank you for the comment. I don't need to think too much. Henry says, travesty folks sleep on Pep's genius. Hey.
Sleep on Pep's genius and money, Abi.
Yeah, me. Okay.
Man, I don't know what's going on. My internet is weird. Let me run through it right now. Akanji right back.
Okay.
Left back is Nathan Ake.
Okay.
My center back is Asebi and Diaz.
Okay.
DM is Rodri.
Okay.
My 2 8s are Valverde and Gundogan.
Okay.
On the right, this will throw people off. I pick Barella. Barella on the right. Yep.
This guy is creating
Vinicius Jr. on the left and
Okay.
Haaland striker. That's my team. And Pep is
the manager.
He's the GOAT.
The GOAT.
Of his generation, by the way. But
I beg you. Good.
Okay, I'll say mine. I'll run through mine. Wait, let's actually take comments. I think I said travesty, folks sleep on Pep's genius from Henry. Coach Yemi even got Onana's hairstyle.
Nah, this isn't Onana's. That's
somebody
Onana.
actually told me that
It's
today. Somebody told me
Onana.
that this morning. Somebody said, "Why are you looking like Onana?"
Yeah,
Yeah,
looking
somebody
like
told me that this morning.
That's
Come on, man. Let me.
Your own is not Onana. It's just Onana.
My guy. I don't know what I do you for yesterday.
Man, yesterday, man, you're coming for me. I have to.
Yeah, we came for each other. Yeah, that was it. So that's my team.
that was that said that to you. Yeah,
and Dada must always take shades at me. I don't know why. I love that guy. And then kudos to him for yesterday. I did a really good job.
Yeah. Shout out to Dada for always hosting the best. He says I'm watching for hosting the best watch parties ever.
Yeah, he does, man. Without question.
Knowledge that he had unlimited resources, but that doesn't take away that he's great. Managing egos ain't easy. That is very true, 100%.
Very, very true.
My team of the season, Courtois. It was tough between Courtois and Onana. The reason I went with Courtois is I don't think Real Madrid go through Liverpool. That Liverpool tie without Courtois, and that Man City, both ties, especially that second leg, would have been a basketball scoreline.
It would have.
It
would have.
We could also say the same thing about Onana though. In all the quarterfinal, semifinal, this man was pretty much almost their man of the match. He kept them in the games. Like he kept them in the game against this AC Milan in the second leg.
AC was the other way.
AC were too.
Like Maya was the one that kept AC in the game.
Both keepers, man. Both keepers. You can even make a case for this Man City's goalkeeper too, because There are some of those matches that this guy was just chilling and he had to make a very, very
Right,
top
okay.
notch save.
That's
So
Going
those things,
from
yeah,
cold to
from
I
cold
get
to
you.
just Zam and man, like
I just want to
welcome
I just feel like he needs a shot because he made some otherworldly saves. My back four, I put in Walker. I know he didn't really play too much like that. You know, he started playing, especially in group stages, but from the knockout stages, the way he kept Vinicius quiet, my goodness, yeah.
Right,
No
right.
post cannot do that too. So I'll put Walker there. My center backs, Bastoni was incredible all through for Inter.
Yep, true.
I had
Very
to
true.
put Stones there because I'm looking at it out of possession, right? I know
All right.
Stones in possession, he inverts midfield, but out of possession, he plays as a center back pretty much. So my left back, DeMarco, I have to give DeMarco a shout out. He was really good.
Man was good.
Quick question. Sorry. I have a question. You said out of possession, Stones plays
As a
as
center
a center
Yeah,
back.
he drops in. He drops in. So the
Yeah,
three
yeah,
becomes a
yeah. Oh
four.
no, he didn't make it. I thought in my head, I thought he said in possession he plays
out
as a
of
center
possession.
back.
Okay.
Yeah,
Rest-
you're right.
the nerds called
It's
rest.
Danny's fault. It's Danny's
Rest.
fault. It's Danny's fault. I blame Danny for
Benny,
that.
Benny. Don't stop people names that don't exist. Benny. His name is
Are you
Benny.
talking about me?
And they call her Danny
I
now.
was talking about somebody else.
Since he called this
I'm Danny.
Tolani.
Yeah,
Since he called Tolani.
Yeah, we are
the
here.
one that said it Tolani. You.
Yeah,
He said
we are here
Tolani. He said
giving
Tolani.
people different names. Yeah, I mean, chill, fam. Chill. Okay, Henry says, man management alone has led to demise of a lot of coaches.
He's Henry Seth, man. Thank you very much,
All
Oga
these
Kwame.
homosexuals. I'm with Benisha, I roll FC. Henry says, we know why you are eye rolling now, Oga Kwame. Okay, let me continue my team. So my back four again: Walker, Stones, Bastoni, DeMarco. My midfield is Chief Rodri. I mean, the guy's I think is the best DM in the
Solid.
league, best DM in Europe, in my opinion. Then KDB, and we have to give everybody's forgetting about Anguissa. Anguissa was incredible. Up until that quarterfinal, he was incredible throughout their run. He
It was.
I'll put that. Anguissa has to go. That's the only person I can put in there. Front three: Bernardo Silva. I mean, I think that man is top 3, top 4 most complete midfielders. He can do everything.
Top 3.
That man can play
I'm
every
go
position.
top 3, man. That boy is good.
He can play every
Right
position.
now.
Still, yes.
Bernardo
Okay.
Silva can play every position.
Yes.
He's press
No.
He has
I get it.
He can
I
shoot.
get it. When you say
can
first
pass,
three
he
of
can
when?
press. So when I look at midfielder, I look at what they do on and off the ball. He can do
No, I
everything.
get it.
Yeah.
No, I get it. I said first three of when? Are you saying of right now? Or
Right now,
Yeah,
now.
top 3 right
Okay,
now.
gotcha.
Yes, no,
I
yes,
can't say all time. I'm saying like
about time.
yeah, Bernardo Silva is incredible. I've always been a big fan of Bernardo Silva. Striker, of course, is Haaland. Then on the left is Vinicius. Vinny is on a different planet now. Best,
He's
I'll
a
probably call him
problem.
best left winger in the world. He's incredible. And of course, it has to be Pep as a coach. I think Pep is the greatest coach of all time, in my personal opinion. Since I've been watching football, of my time, I always say coach, and I differentiate every time. I don't think he's the greatest manager. I think he's the greatest coach of all time, in my opinion. And since I've been watching football, I didn't watch football in the 70s. I didn't see what Mitchells do. I didn't see what that Liverpool guy, whatever his name is, nobody cares.
Shankly.
Yeah, whatever his name is. Yeah, that what he did for Liverpool.
Did you see Cruyff?
90s? I mean, at that time,
Did you watch ball in the 90s?
I watched. Well, we don't know.
But
You're not like into it that much now.
90s, yeah, all we were just watching for vibe. We were all vibing at that time. So, but since I've been watching football intensively, I think
Pep.
coach is the best coach
It's
of all.
understandable.
We know. Okay, let's jump. Let's move on. Like I said, my aim is to get one of the quickest podcasts we've done. 45 minutes. Let's talk about Saudi League move. If anybody has been living under a rock, like Saudis are throwing money at everything. The greatest, probably the best contract we've seen. I know Cristiano went there earlier last season, halfway.
Right.
Then followed by Benzema now, who's current Ballon d'Or winner. Then N'Golo Kante. Then we're hearing, I don't know if it's finalized. I know I heard rumors about
his medical fell through.
Zaha.
They had some issues.
No.
Yeah, they had some issues in his medical.
Kante is
Yeah,
medical,
Kante.
yeah.
They had
It's still
issues,
working.
but
Still working
they are
on
still
that.
working on it though. But there's some glitches in his medical.
Right. Zaha is still a rumor right now. It's not a rumor, but it's some it's some progress there, I think. Or
the one that broke today was Neymar. They said they want to go and get Neymar. I saw that today. Since they couldn't get Messi, of course. So I guess I gave all this context to say and I'll start with Benny. Like all the Saudi league move, what is the end goal for Saudi with football? Like what are your thoughts?
Okay, personally, I think seeing the success with Qatar
Okay.
in a way kind of sparked up some kind of crazy jealousy right there in that entire region. Like, okay, these guys have gone and showed the world, like, that they can actually host a tournament. Because it was always the thing about, oh, is it cultural? There's no culture of football here. There's no history of football here. The weather is this, the weather is that. There's so many different narratives from the West back then of why it wouldn't go to the Middle East. And then Qatar just shut out everything. Like, okay, if we got to change the time, let's change the time. We'll make everything work. And I think even before it, leading up to the tournament, there's a lot of animosity right there. Neighboring countries, embargoes, like, yo, we're not going to let you ship anything to Qatar. There was a lot of beef going on there. But now I do think Saudi are trying to, like, maybe it's just MBS, just trying to do a lot of this, like, enter sports just in general. And now it's like a state's whole idea, like 20 billion to into sports. And we've seen it with the live golf. Now we're seeing it
Yeah,
with football.
Yep.
yeah,
They're trying to acquire teams. They tried to acquire Chelsea. Well, I'm kind of mad they didn't get to acquire. They got Newcastle. Now they're bidding for Manchester United. So there's this concerted effort about going into football completely. And whether it's good or bad, I don't know. There's going to be a lot of money into it. It's going to inflate the market a lot. And it's just going to drive the gap between like the big teams or the Saudi owned teams and non-Saudi owned teams or non-oil money owned teams. But then again, there's always been a gap. There's always been a gap in history for the big teams and the small teams. And if anything, it'll probably even the playing field out a little more now
Okay.
with like the traditional big teams and like just new money big teams. So I I'm kind of torn as to how to feel about it because change is something that's not like easily accepted. And this just seems to be a new flurry. And will it last? Will it just, turn out to be one of these Chinese league, whatever? I think it lasts a little longer here because there's a more concerted effort here. There's a smarter, or it seems like there's a plan right now. And as a player, you start thinking about it. Like, look, what am I playing for now? If you're not like top in the conversations of Ballon d'Or and all that, why am I staying in Europe? Or why am I saying no to Saudi? Why am I saying no to all this money? Like, secure your bag. I think somebody said it yesterday, and I didn't even think about it. Salah, in a year or two, should probably go to Saudi just because that he's going to be marketable there from Egypt. He's Muslim. The name and everything is like tailor made for career in Saudi. He's just 30 right now, so I don't know if he'll want to, ditch the lights and everything and go for the money. But I think there's a lot of potential there, and it helps that the resource there isn't finishing anytime soon. Maybe it will, but for now, there seems to be a lot where that money is coming from. So we'll see how well it pans out, if it pans out.
Okay. Let's take comments. Oga comment says, if Saudi come for me, ayo, you're on your own. You either change your channel to Al Fantashid or I change my name to Al Kwame. This boy is
Best believe I've become Abdul Benny, straight up.
so they are bidding for the next in 2030
Yep.
for
Yep.
2030 World Cup. Is to bolster their economy and to create another thriving industry, improve their image and tourism. Sports generally has always been a tool to accomplish these goals. Yeah, good
true,
comment.
very true.
Yemi, what are your thoughts about this?
I mean, like the last comment that guy said was exactly what I was thinking of. But also, Saudi is looking into basketball. As crazy as that is, yeah, they're looking into basketball. They have their eyes now on the NBA, where the NBA is looking at playing some games in the nearest time in like Qatar and Saudi. And then we have to look at it this way: jealousy and competition.
Straight up.
Jealousy and competition. Kuwait, Qatar, Saudi Arabia. The jealousy in all these people is immense. What one can do, one wants to top it. Mostly Qatar and Saudi Arabia. Qatar just showed and just pretty much almost slaps this in Saudi's face. Like, man, you guys have been shouting the best in this region, but we came here and hosted the best World Cup so far ever. We just did it, and we did it immaculately well with none of your help. So now Saudi Arabia is looking at that like, man, we are now almost becoming an afterthought. So we need to start making our mark now and say, if Qatar can do it, we too can do it better. And I was in a group where someone said that this in Saudi does not have enough money, man, to sustain this for another 10 to this in 20 years. China has done this before. Another country has done this before. And I looked at the guy, I said, Saudi has enough money to sustain this for another 10 to 20 years.
This guy.
Your money don't stop, boy. His money has stopped.
Pay as you
He
go.
pay as he go. Baba, top up, top up. Maybe he needs some Saudi money in his life too for his internet.
Get me
It be like say somebody share my internet for you. But yeah, briefly, yeah. So I don't even know what's going on right now. It's weird. But like my area, man, they are fixing a whole lot of stuff going on, Wi-Fi and such. But minus that, so I'm just saying like it's a good thing for Saudi Arabia, and I don't think we're going to see the end of it. I think this is just going to grow. But my only stress now is with UEFA. What will UEFA do? What all I know, UEFA has no control over whatever Saudi does. But my fear is with the way they're throwing money at things now, if it inflates the market, those small clubs now have no say in buying. They will just have to go deep and go and work on their recruiting. If you're a mid-level club that you don't have enough money, if your recruiting is not good, you will suck because you don't have any shot at buying most of these players. And it's looking
Can't
like
compete.
most you can't compete. But and then the thing also we have to look at this is if you're a top player now, you mentioned this Mohammed, this guy, Salah. The guy's won everything in football. There's nothing else to win. He's won
Who?
everything.
Okay, yeah.
So yeah, you have to. If I'm this guy or Pogba now, I read somewhere that this in the Pogba too might be looking at going to Saudi. He has offers from Miami. They said he has offers from Miami with Messi. And now listen, United States are trying to look at that model now, like retirement homes.
Yep.
The best retirement home is it Saudi Arabia now, or is it America? So it's a lot, man. It's a lot, man. We can only just watch and see, and pray that this does not affect our status quo. Because if Saudi Arabia comes down and just say they want Bruno and Rashford and they drop all the money, and the money is lucrative, or more, if they go, our yash should open with that.
Yeah. I mean, I guess for me, my thoughts about it is when I ask what the end goal is, what you said about China, right? China did this, before it did not last. And it
Hmm.
almost feels like, yes, it almost feels like they are throwing money at the problem. They're just throwing money at it as much as they can. See, hoping
Hmm.
that it feels like that's a strategy, hoping something sticks ahead of 2030, you know, and they want to get all the major stars and like improve the league and the image.
Hmm.
And I am not sure if that's a sustainable model to like grow tourism and image just for that, right? I'm not sure. I'm not saying I'm 100% that it's going to fail. I'm just trying to look at the sustainability of the whole. It feels like they're putting the is it the egg for the chicken, like the cat for the horse. That's how it feels like.
All right.
Can I say something though?
All the
Can
infrastructure. I
I?
know they have good stadium. I've seen like play
Hmm.
whatever, but like all the infrastructure in place that they put on of how they want to like make it sustainable, how to grow it, rather than it looks like let's just get all the stars first. We'll figure it out later.
You figure it out. Yeah.
Can I say
It feels
something
that
to
way.
that?
Personally,
Can I say something to that?
yeah,
I read somewhere. I actually read somewhere that they are copying this in a Qatar's model.
yeah,
A Qatar in the past 5 to 10 years, they've started something small where like they're building grassroots, where they're encouraging their kids and encouraging grassroots soccer.
yeah,
I used to have a friend that used to stay here. He's from Saudi, and they're now trying to build fields. This was like 6 years ago, where like they're looking at building fields and starting grassroots football, where they bring in this some of the best trainers from Europe or from there to come down there and do like this in seminars
yeah.
on the game and try and bring the game. This in Qatar was one of the first people in that area to actually do it, and they've been doing it since a very long time. But there was nothing this is sustained. But now this Qatar is heavy on those things now. Where like it's starting from the grassroots now. You're five, they're like this intentionally pushing their kids pretty much to look at soccer and sports. So it's also the same thing too with Saudi, where like they are building stadiums, they are building nice places where like folks can actually go and freely play, both for men and women actually. So let's. I mean, I know that they're trying to buy most of the stars, but you need those stars to come and play so that all these young boys can actually see guys they've been watching on TV and look at it and say, oh man, this thing is possible. Because if you've watched any Saudi Arabian team, what is the thing that they are known for? They play good football, entertaining football. Their
Yeah.
football is always entertaining. Yeah, man, they may not win, or they may win 1 or 2 games, but their football is entertaining. And most of their inspiration is gotten from like South America. So most of their trainings and stuff are from those areas where like they are attracted to that brand of football. So man, if they continue with this and they invest in their youth core and the youth core system, man, we're talking about this inside it. Itata will tell you from the 90s, Saudi Arabia has always known one way to play attractive football. That's the way they've always been playing till present.
Yep.
So I mean that should come from somewhere. That means they have their identity. It's just that they don't have enough resources and stuff. Maybe in terms of just people that are willing to play the game, or probably their league or exposure. So them bringing all these guys will make that league thrive. Qatar is going to see that now and try and make sure their league thrives. Everybody in the Middle East that have money will want to do the same thing. And yeah, man.
Yeah, I
This thing is
do agree
real.
with Io's thing about putting the cart before the horse.
Mhm.
It's kind of looking like the whole approach with Todd Bowley and his nonsense, although it looks better, sha. But um, hey, if you can't guess it, I'm not a fan of Todd Bowley. I'm a Chelsea fan, but I can't stand that dude. That dude is the bane of our existence right now. Anyway, I do think that they have a lot of things to worry about if they want to go into sports, like we've all said here. Looking at live golf, looking at football, you talked about basketball. I'm sure if they want to go into like all kinds of other sports, they have a lot of things. If they're trying to improve their image, like Henry was saying,
Yep.
image, the look, and everything like that. First of all, things have progressed a lot lately, and by lately I mean the last 200 years. Like, you got some things you need to improve, especially if you want things to. Henry, make a no suffer. Don't let me suffer you. Anyway, the way things are improving, it has been, especially from place to place, socially at least, social issues, human rights issues, and everything like that. They need to clean that up a bit. Now, I'm not saying it's as bad as it looks, but perception sometimes is reality, right? So the way people look at you is how they treat you. The way they perceive you to be is the way they treat you. That could be different from reality, but you got to clean up that a little, make yourself a little more like palatable to the average fan, and not have people fighting the live golf thing, which as hilarious as it is. I think it's just hilarious because of the PGA stance and the
Mhm.
whole rhetoric and all that. But it's the same way with just any takeover. It's just money. I mean, we'll bring money. We'll bring whatever. Play ball. And if you start bringing rhetoric and people start back, like it was so easy to come up with a rhetoric against Saudi. So easy because of everything like that. They need to clean that up a bit.
Yeah.
And I don't mind the money. Bring new money there. Make people perk up. And you talked about UEFA maybe having to step in. I think yes, they'll have to maybe make those FFP rules a little, not FFP, like the financial fair play rules, maybe a little tougher or something, just to make sure that just doesn't switch that balance like crazily, because
How?
nobody else can compete really in terms
How?
of, well, for instance, when they talk about like bringing in money and all that, you have to show like balance books, kind of, not sponsorship and all that. There's a lot of rules there, but
Yeah.
make sure you're not just putting in more than your club is actually generating,
Yeah.
because
But they are not under UEFA though. Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, all
true,
these guys, they're
but
not under. So this, I don't think
within
those. Mhm.
They're under FIFA, right?
they're under FIFA though. Like, so within the Asian whatever, yes, they'll have to deal with it if they're trying to play with Asia. If this is just within Saudi Arabia, then they can do whatever they want, right?
Mhm.
But then the market for that isn't as big as you would expect. That's why they're looking outside. They're looking into golf. They're looking into acquiring other teams and everything. So they still need to play within a certain semblance of like the rules there. So as long as the rules can keep up with this influx of money, I think it's all for the better. It's for the better. They'll figure out a way to get everybody on equal, not maybe not equal footing, but slightly more even footing than it will be if they didn't. So,
Okay.
but yeah, anybody that says Todd is good here, curse, sharp, sharp. I beg.
Yeah, we're halfway through the show. Well, so almost at the end. Again,
Yeah.
plug the thing. If you're watching, like, share, subscribe on the stream on YouTube, Footy Fantasy, Twitter, road to 1.5K, Footy 80 Fantasy, Instagram, Fantasy Footy. Like, share, subscribe. If you see some of my posts on Facebook, you can support us with stars. It will go a long way. It's a bootstrap, wholly supported show. So support us with stars. If you see my post on Facebook, I plan to set up a Patreon channel where we will have different content, all the quick short reels, tactical. I'll be putting that on there. So Patreon members, so you can support us that way also. So like, share, subscribe. We have a comment before we go to. I was listening to Bomani's podcast. He says Lakers are primed for such a Saudi buyout. Okay.
Yeah, I said it.
Yeah.
They're going for everything, man, and they have the resources. They can build what man. Those people are not playing, man.
Okay.
We live in a capitalist society.
Kudos and Donkey of the week, and actually, let's do Kudos and Donkey of the UCL season. Also, that's an additional layer to it. I'll start with my kudos of the week. Fine. Then we'll go around. My kudos is to Gundogan, player of Gundo. And this is a personal one just because, Gundogan, most people that know me here know Dortmund is my second team. Gundo I've liked Gundo since days of Dortmund. I remember him losing that final. He was one of the few people that played well to Bayern in 2013. I think he scored a penalty, if I remember, in that final also against Bayern. So I'm happy that he's won Champions League. He's my guy, Outside, he went to Man City. I was hoping United was going to get him, but I mean, that's a different conversation entirely. But yeah, shout out to Gundo. Happy he's got his chip. That's my guy. Play of Gundo. Who has a kudos for the week? Yemi, you want to go?
I do, and there are three players, and within the same team, of course. Stones, Ake, and this guy, Akonji. With the way Pep, with their responsibilities in the team since it has switched, change of position, change of how they've approached the game, and stuff, and their ability to actually do it and do it exceedingly well. So now, man, we're going to see next season. Now, a lot of people are going to take from what Pep have done and try to make it better. I was talking to you, Danny, yesterday. I told you that. Are you seeing some similarities between Brighton and Man City with the way they build up from the back, from the beginning? We're seeing now that there's an evolution of the game where like everybody's picking from people now. There's no hidden thing. So now that's why I'm looking at it. Where Stones for me, Stones Akonji and what's his name? Stones Akonji and Nathan Ake. Those are my kudos for the week for the way that they've acclimatized to their changes in position, and they excelled. Those things, it needs to be commended.
Okay, I agree. I'll add that a +1 to kudos of the season for Stones for sure. Benny, kudos of the week, kudos of the season. Do you have that?
Kudos of the week. I'd have to go. Oh man, it was tough. If it had gone into extra time, I would have said Onana, just because that boy just showed. It kind of just, I think it's opened eyes to a lot of coaches on how to play City, how to deal with City's press. But without a ball playing keeper, it's very difficult usually. But with a ball playing goalie like that, oof, sky's the limit, man. Inter seemed very comfortable with him in the back, very comfortable, which I didn't expect at all. Very comfortable because they had someone that could just hold the ball, not be afraid to fake somebody, pass between the lines. It was so. Anyway, but I have to go Rodri though. For that man to be that, he showed calm at that position to place the ball, because a lot of people would just blast that thing over. A lot of people just go for power and not precision. So to have the for the present, just knowing what that situation required of him, regardless of the stage he was on, regardless of the pressure that came with everybody just slipping everywhere, passing errantly and everything, to put that pass there, pass it into the net essentially. That was good. So kudos of the week to him. Kudos of the season, I'll have to go with Inzaghi, man. Simeone Inzaghi. I've just seen what he's done in the Champions League. Has been quite impressive. Like getting there. Inter is not really the best team in Italy. like struggling with the likes of Roma for position at that point. At some points, not later on though. But knockout football, I value knockout football over like the league, whatever. League, if you have money, if you have the players, it's a war of attrition really. If you have a deep squad, injuries will come and go, but if you can replace injured players or players out of form with other players that have same quality, if not more, which is one theory why I don't like Pep. He just has this deep squad. He can just pull from anything or whatever because he has the resources. Knockout football shows you it requires you to bring something that you don't necessarily need during the season, which is heart, playing above your means, like showing up that okay, yes, we're underdogs here, but we can fight for something. Having knockout football is just a different animal to me, at least. But Simeone getting the team to this level here and competing at the highest stage and something of an equal footing, really, against the best team, like consensus best team in the world,
Yeah.
is impressive. So I have to give him that. He didn't have a very good career, I guess, but I mean, but usually players with the subpar careers tend to have the, better coaching careers. So yeah, he's to me, he did well. Kudos of the season for me.
Kudos of the season, of course. I think first one goes to actually a friend of the show. Let me shout out. I don't talk to her in a long time, but yeah, friend of the show. Our only Man City fan that used to come on, Yannicka. For a team getting the treble. Treble is not easy to get, regardless of the situation. The way they got it, treble is not easy to get. So yeah, so friend of the show, Yannicka. Shout out if you're watching this. Shout out to you, your team. Second is Pep getting the treble. The only manager with two trebles. I mean, that's impressive. Regardless of the, we can talk about the other reasons why he got it, right? Of course, I'm not the person that the allegations, all of that, but yeah, yep. Treble. That's my kudos of the season. Donkey of the week. So I think I'm just gonna. Where's the where's the comment? Donkey is to Lukaku's village people. I kind of agree with this because me, I want to be fair. I'm a very player guy, player first guy. Lukaku has been so unlucky. We're talking about this Benny before you even gone on. World Cup, just same season, Champions League, big, big, big chances. Nah, that's that. I want to be fair and just say for kudos of the week. Oh, sorry, donkey of the week. Lukaku's village people that are following him. Let me take comments. These comments are flying in. First one is from Henry. Says donkey is to Lukaku's village people. +1 for me. Oga comments the donkey Manchester United players. This shit happen on your watch. Should be ashamed of themselves. Who is Danny? I don't know what that is.
I don't know. He keeps calling
That's
me
my
Danny,
fault,
Danny, Danny.
Benny, my fault. I don't learn my lessons. My fault, man.
Kudos is definitely Pep.
How?
That's
Definitely Pep.
that game could have gone sideways yesterday. That's fair. Henry says Benny is thought buying Onana.
Oh, nah.
Yes, he said, nah. Asking for a family friend. Oga Kwame says, kudos is Ronaldo. Man went to eat shawarma in Saudi Arabia and still didn't enter shawarma team of the season. This guy. So that goal was calmly specified. The power and placement in traffic was just sick. It felt like
I will agree with you on that. Yeah.
100%, man. 100.
kudos of the season goes to the GOAT manager Pep. Second treble. Only coach that player of the season, Kudogan Dyer. We know that's you. We know that's you. I concur, Benny, which is why next year's Champions League format will be really interesting. Okay. Okpayemi says Donkey is Lukaku. Lukaku.
It's so I don't. It seems so easy, man. To just well, actually,
So my donkey, I said it. Lukaku's Julie Chipo. I don't want to abuse Lukaku. He's doing his best. But my donkey of the Champions League season. This is very, very controversial, right? But I think Ancelotti did not manage that second leg very well. I'll be very, very honest with everybody.
That's quite controversial. Very controversial.
I think Ancelotti has to take shots for that, man. He didn't manage that second leg very well. Not playing Tchouaméni or Camavinga in the midfield away at City and thinking, oh, it's just going to run it back and have Cruz and Modric. They were overwhelmed. It was clear that they were showing their overwhelming. He did not change anything. They were getting overwhelmed in midfield consistently. I mean, I think because of that way he managed that second. There's no much candidate for donkey of this season. Maybe Napoli for going out there early.
Oh, Napoli for sure. Napoli.
Maybe going out there early to lesson. You can say that.
What about that?
I would say that. I can say that. But for me, so between Napoli and Ancelotti, that's my donkey of the UCL.
Yeah, I don't know why he switched in Militao for Rudiger. Rudiger was doing so well against in the first leg. He did so well against Haaland. I don't know why I brought him Militao straight from like injury or whatever. Anyway, Donkey of the week, man. I'll say I heard a rumor that Megan unfollowed Lukaku, so I'll have to say Lukaku. But I don't know why. I don't. It's probably a rumor. Or maybe it's real or not. I don't know. But Lukaku, man, I don't like to bash the guy because he's doing like his best. It's not like he's trying to be in positions where it just doesn't work. But the man just hasn't elevated his game the way you would expect him to elevate his game to be for being considered a marquee striker. Like at what point do you start like elevating your game? And we talked about the strategy here. Yes, like why don't you start? I thought he should have started Lukaku to wear them down and bring in someone more, clinical as like Dzeko later. But he went the other way and it kind of backfired in a bit. But I feel like Lukaku at this stage, I mean, it's probably too late right now, but he should have elevated his game somehow because those chances, the header, for instance, you get those chances are few and far between. That's why you have to be very clinical when they come through. So in a way, I feel it has to be Lukaku. Like even though I like the guy, I like to see a man like that doing well at the stage he is.
Yeah,
But it has to be him.
Chelsea, he'll be back to help you guys score goals.
Don't remind me of Chelsea. But donkey of the season, just donkey of the season, the entire Napoli team for just dropping the bag when it mattered against a less impressive team. I don't know. They were terrible. Remind me of Pep in those first couple of years when he just, misbehaved against like clearly inferior teams.
Yeah.
For the money. Like all these Pep fans,
boy.
you guys ignore the fact that man was losing to teams like Lyon and whatever, losing to Madrid last year. Was it last year?
Yeah.
Last year.
Over to after man, Pep fans, you guys shock me. The way you have this selective amnesia is like crazy, man. All this money and everything just to be losing left and right over with smaller teams or weaker teams. If you think football is played on paper, I guess it was played on paper yesterday, but overall, nothing impressive about Pep.
Interesting. Okoyemi says,
okay, you can go.
Okoyemi says, I'm the coach for starting Zeko over him. Okay. I think you guys are shading Lukaku too much. It's unfair. Oga comment telling somebody that things are unfair. That's scared to call him pot black. Oga comment, chill.
Right.
Street Fighter says donkeys Anthony Taylor. Why?
Was he in the CL? I thought it was just in Europa.
Tell us why. I'm curious. How can donkey of UCL not be Bayern Munich?
No.
Okay. I don't know. I don't understand. Since we're better than them. Well, okay, maybe. Okay, Yemi, give us. Let's go. Take us home. What's your donkey of the season?
Donkey of the season in terms of soccer as a whole.
In UCL for Champions League.
UCL Bayern Munich.
Okay.
Because it just
tell us why.
Simple. All that style, all everything, they practically lost out in a very, very bad way. It was an un-Bayern Munich way to get out of a competition. And when you get out of the competition, you let go of your sporting director and your coordinator that every coach has fought with. Salihamidzic. Salihamidzic was one of their major problems. Every coach that has been there while he was there has fought with him, but they stood by him. Oliver Kahn, that one I didn't know much about, but that one. Now, if you're talking donkey of just regular soccer, we can't go as far back as two teams, Dortmund and Arsenal. My goodness.
This is TREBLE. This is UCL now.
No. I'm just saying, no, we have to throw that in there. Now, if you're looking for an extra donkey, we have to go to basketball. To that guy, that basketball player that felt like
Dylan Brooks.
It could be no, not Dylan Brooks. It could be dealing with Ayangba and dealing with side chick. Your
Zion.
side chick, Zion. Now that there can't be any bigger donkey of the week. That guy shut down the internet. There's NBA playoffs and Champions League going on. That guy is trending more than all those competitions. So
Facebook user, I'm guessing that's Dio. See, I wasn't shading. I'm not shading City. I'm not shading City at all.
For Benny, a Chelsea fan, shade
Quite
some
rich, yeah.
money to buy stuff.
Yeah, you see, not once did I mention I'm shading City. Shading Pep is different. Yeah, fine. Bring money is good. It's fine, but let's not like glorify these guys like they did something crazy good. I mean, if you can win, as I will like to just carry stray bullets. Anyway, like once whenever Pep wins, like these smaller teams have won in the UCL or impressively where they were underdogs or anything, I will give him his credit. But man has never been an underdog in anything he's won. Never, ever. He's always had the best, either the best team or the most money or whatever, or both. He has never been an underdog. I mean, you guys miss me with all that nonsense, man. Look at Porto beating people left and right in their CL run. Inter Milan, in spite of having the oldest team, beating probably the greatest team in the world, that Pep was on the other side, by the way, beating probably the greatest club side that the world has ever seen in its masterful display. And you're talking about Pep because he plays ball like a schoolboy, like the way he does it, like this frat boy that has all the access to all the resources. That's how he sets his team up and everything. Great philosophy, yes. But man does not inspire anything.
No, we're not going to go there. I'm going to take comments. I'm not going to end the show.
Mr. Ayo, no. I just need to say one thing. I have to say this about Benny. I have to say this about Benny. One thing. Time out. I have to say something about Benny. I have to say
destination. Let me ask you what you say.
I have to say something about Benny. I think Benny needs a therapist.
Only let me just say Ayagba.
He really did. It is Ayagba.
Let me sit out, guys. If you don't know that.
He's doing his best too, but man, I wouldn't raise him to that level like you guys are raising him. Come on now.
No. Benny, man, I think you know
absolutely. 2012. What are you talking about? We're underdogs the entire CL run. Man, don't come for me, man. Even the one we won against City, we're an underdog. Yes.
Nobody expected them to beat Bayern.
Yes.
Nobody expected them to beat Man City when they won the Champions League.
Went as Madrid, Chelsea, man, and got sacked.
He won with Porto, though. Can Pep say that? He won with Inter. Can Pep say that?
Shout out.
He won with Bayern. He won with Barca.
LOL.
Shout out to.
And on that,
when they went to cheat us in champion with that referee that had recalled 3 PKs.
Mr. Kwame, when I catch you, is Mr. Kwame. When I catch you, is on site.
It's on site. It's on site. Just like Emi said, it's on site. And on that note, for everyone in the comments, thank you for supporting us. All comments, likes, thank you for joining us. Yemi Onana, thanks for joining us.
Mame.
I'm Benny.
Me fear no one. I fear no hola. I don't fear anybody.
Just don't go and take your wife's steroids. Right? That's all I'm going to say. Before they ban you for 1 year.
Someone said a young whiskey got promoted to CF in 2 years of joining next. We'll tell him to prove himself by rising to the ranks.
You see this young cats. This is new cats that's coming out now.
Hi guys, man. It's nice chatting with everybody.
That's good.
We're out.
All right, take care. We're out, man.